Mike, how would you describe the state of the union for marketing sales alignment right now in the industry?
I think the good news about sort of the state of the union for sales and marketing alignment is that marketers, and salespeople are thinking about it a lot more. So we're sort of getting a lot more conversations happening about it. But I don't think most companies are doing a great job of executing on it really well. So I think the conversations are happening. People are thinking about it more. But I don't think we're all there yet in terms of having a large percentage of companies executing well and having good sales and marketing alignment.
Now, if somebody's serious about getting started, there's a lot of information. Where would you say in terms of in terms of the steps or the process they should follow, the key parts during the planning process, would you recommend?
Yeah, I sort of break down the thinking about this, or sort of the building blocks or the planning process, into two big pieces. One is around having the right goals and the right handoff between the sales and the marketing team. So taking the revenue plan, breaking it down, figuring out how much of that marketing is going to drive, what exactly is sort of that unit of exchange or that handoff between the sales team and the marketing team. What is the marketing team going to provide? What exactly is a sales ready lead, and for your particular company and your situation, and how many of those the marketing team needs to provide. That's sort of one set of activities. And then another set of activities really revolves around communication and how you want the communication to work. And I think that part of it is that whether you really want it to be kind of at that senior level, just between the head of sales and the head of marketing, or you want the teams to sort of have maybe a portion of each team, and there's sort of some sales and marketing alignment, kind of cross-functional team that happens, or if you just want it to be more organic throughout the whole organization, and how that's going to work. And I think that'll be different in every company based on the culture and whether it's inside sales or outside sales and things like that. But I think that communication and sort of what that communication structure is the other broad thing that you really need to think about. The other piece is sort of planning for that sales and marketing alignment.
When you see people who are already started the marketing sales alignment process, and you look at where they get caught, what are the biggest mistakes that kind of derail that process?
I think there's a couple of big mistakes. I think one is people will talk about getting agreement on that definition of what that handoff point is between marketing and sales, but oftentimes they haven't gone into enough detail there, and they haven't really defined in a very, very detailed way what exactly is a sales-ready lead, and really getting both marketing and sales to agree on all the different aspects to it. So, that's where I think that people run into problems a fair amount of time, because the marketing team will be throwing things over to the sales team, and the sales team will be looking at them and saying, well, these really aren't, the leads that I want. That's definitely one big breakdown. And then I think the other breakdown that I see frequently as well is people not tracking their metrics frequently enough. We look at ours in real time, and then there's dashboards that go out every single night. And I think unless you have the marketing team paying attention to what you're supplying to the sales team on kind of that micro time scale, you're really likely to kind of go off track. And you're really less likely to hit your goal. So let's say you need to provide 1,000 of those leads to the sales team in a given month. If you don't check it, if you only check your stats weekly, maybe after the first week you've only delivered 50 sales ready leads. Well, you're really behind now. Whereas if you check daily, you sort of figure out kind of how you're falling behind. I always describe it. During the Olympics, if you watch swimming in the Olympics, they have the yellow line that's kind of the world record that goes across the pool, and you can see very clearly, is the swimmer catching up to the record, or are they falling behind? And having that yellow line in real time of showing you how you're doing in your marketing goals, I think is really important to making sure that you're more likely to hit your goals. And you don't want to check the yellow line at the end of the race. You want to have that intermittent feedback, and that really helps you hit the goal. So that's that second thing that I really encourage people to do, and I think there's very few people that actually do that well.
The thing about metrics is there's so many metrics you can look at. In terms of the key metrics you want to look at, that chief sales officers and chief marketing officers want to look at to really make sure that they're on track and healthy, what are the key metrics that you'd recommend to follow?
Yeah, in terms of that, the question is really specific around what exactly are the key metrics for to make sure that you're on track and things are going well for sales and marketing alignment, I think the real key metric is, that number of sales-ready leads. Once you've defined that, how many of those is the marketing team delivering on kind of a micro basis, on a daily basis, and making sure that you're really, really likely to hit those goals. You're staying on pace, and you're not trying to win the marathon by walking the first half of it and then sprinting the second half. You really need to make sure. So that's one of just tracking that number of sales-ready leads or whatever that handoff point is between marketing and sales and how that is working. And then I think another thing, if you want to get a little bit more detailed beyond that, another thing I would look at to make sure that process is working is any sort of acceptance rate or a worked rate or something that shows you how many of those sales ready leads are actually being engaged by the sales team and in what time frame. If you look at that kind of stuff, that really gives you a sense of making sure that the sales team is actually happy with the stuff that's being handed over. So those are the two. There's lots of other metrics that I think you should track, but really around true sales and marketing alignment, those are the couple that I would hone in on.
How about in terms of looking at metrics when you look at specifically for the chief sales officer and the chief marketing person, or even their departments? What are the metrics that should be used that their bonuses should be tied to?
Yeah, I mean, at a high level, I think it's revenue, and a huge portion of my compensation, my variable comp, is actually just does the company hit the revenue goals? And because I think there's a lot of ways that marketing can help the sales team hit the goals, even that aren't beyond just straight lead generation. And I think you want to have the right incentives for the marketing team to hit that. I also have the portion of my marketing team that deals with sort of the middle of the funnel and lead generation. It's not a huge portion, but they do have some variable comp that is actually aligned with the part of the sales team that they're aligned with. And does that portion of the sales team actually hit their revenue goal? And so they'll make a little bit more or less money based on that. So I would say really revenue. And then if you want to get more detailed beyond that, there's lots of things you can look at about, what portion of the pipeline did marketing contribute, or, of the overall number of deals closed, or how much pipeline did they contribute. You can look at, some other metrics around the volume of leads and things like that. But I think at the core, really what you care about as the CEO is revenue, and I think you can try to tie both the marketing and the salesperson to that.
We've talked about some of the pitfalls in terms of what to watch out for. What about things you should do? What practices should you have in place to foster marketing sales alignment? What should you be doing to help make sure that it becomes part of the whole company's goal?
Yeah, we found that a lot of really regular communication helps a lot. So once you have the basics set up and everyone talks, having that, the sales ready lead, what's the definition of that, what the handoff point is, tracking the number of those. But I think that communication around those metrics is key, and also just good communication between the two teams. So there's a couple things that we do there. One is for the SLA, or the service level agreement, that what the marketing team needs to provide to sales. We publish those metrics daily, and they go out not only to the marketing team, but also to the sales team. So we're really, really open and transparent with how the marketing team is performing. And then on the flip side, we're also very transparent with how the sales team is performing. And we get, the marketing team gets daily reports and dashboards around, is the sales team actually calling our leads back? How much are they working them? Are they working them deeply enough? And what that really does is that sort of public transparency gives you a lot of incentive for both teams to hit their metrics, because no one wants to have their team not look good in this dashboard that's going out to the other team. So I think that, or the communication and the automated communication around those metrics has really helped us a lot. I think the second thing that's helped us a lot is we have meetings at various levels. So we have kind of a managers meeting between the sales managers and the marketing managers for different portions of our sales and marketing team, and they get together weekly to talk about what's going on within their particular line of business. And then we actually have an all-hands meeting of sales, marketing, everyone from both of those teams once a month, where we go through the results, we highlight key great performances from people in sales, people in marketing. We talk about the marketing results, we talk about the sales results, and Mark Rivera, our SVP of sales, and I lead the content for that meeting, and I think that really helps align the whole team. So we have a pretty frequent set of meetings. I think part of the advantage of having a completely inside sales team is that we can have a lot of those meetings in person, and we really try to take advantage of that. So to me, I think the communication is really key, both around electronic automated communication and also the in-person stuff.
Let's get down into implementation. In terms of the functional working unit for implementation, how do you say how do you think that would work best? Who should be involved in that team?
Yeah, I think to me the most important thing is that it can't just be the head of sales and the head of marketing. It needs to go much, much deeper than that. It's just not scalable if it's just those two people. And they can have a very good relationship, but if their teams don't get along, you're not going to really get anywhere. For us, what we found works best is actually having it be really the entire team responsible for it. So there's lots of ways where we try to get many people from the marketing team involved in working on things with many people from the sales team, and there's lots of different collaborative efforts and projects and things like that. I think maybe for some larger companies, maybe for companies where it's more difficult to spend face time with the sales team because they're a field sales team but distributed around the world, maybe having a smaller group of sales and marketing people that work in an alignment can work. But for us, we found, having as many touch points as possible between sales and marketing has worked really effectively for us.
Looking forward to 2013 in terms of marketing, sales, and alignment, what are your predictions for 2013?
Yeah, predictions are always tough. I feel like we're seeing a lot more conversations around this, and I think that the tools available to sales teams and to marketers are getting better and better. And I think that 2013 is going to be the year where we start to see more companies performing well in terms of sales and marketing alignment. You have a lot more social and other types of collaboration tools within the company. You have a lot more data available. You have a lot more real-time information about leads. And people are just getting smarter and smarter about this stuff. So I really hope that 2013 is the year where we maybe stop talking so much about sales and marketing alignment and actually start really delivering on it in a big way.